Hello, you are on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. More than 90% watch my videos without a subscription. Subscribe to the channel so we always stay in touch. Enjoy watching. Story 1. My ex cheated on me and now he's crawling back to me. So this is a wild story. My 22M ex, 23M, and I broke up years ago due to him cheating. We dated from ages 16 to 19. On our 3-year anniversary he planned out this elaborate date, and he'd been talking about this for months. Fancy dinner, romantic night out, a party in a private lounge, the whole 9 yards. My ex, who we'll name L for now, was extremely rich. His family was old money and his parents owned multiple businesses. Well, at this elaborate party, I swiftly found he had hired both male and female strippers. This truly didn't bother me, since I had no prior inkling that he would ever be unfaithful, and a large majority of the friends of ours at the party were single. I got very drunk as the night progressed, and eventually lost track of L, expecting him to be either passed out in his dorm or somewhere nearby throwing up. Found him in my dorm, looking torn up. He explained a friend took him home, and he blacked out. Although he didn't seem drunk in the slightest. He seemed completely sober, but I figured maybe he's been home a while and sobered up. I went to bed and slept my hangover away the next morning. The following 2 months I noticed L was being weird towards me. He wouldn't let me come over much anymore, I hardly saw his parents or friends anymore, and he just acted more secretive and bizarre. Well, finally, I got a text from his mother berating me, calling me awful names, threatening to tell my family what I'd done, etc., etc. I had no clue what she was on about obviously, so I asked her what I had done. She replied saying I cheated on her son. I was clearly confused, and told her no, I hadn't cheated, but she didn't respond. So I texted his dad, I was blocked, his sister, blocked, his friends, all blocked, on every platform. I texted him and he pretended to have no idea what I was talking about. At this point I was done being in the dark, so I drove to his house, where he was, and demanded an explanation. He fumbled and stuttered the entire way through saying it was a misunderstanding. Then I asked for his phone, and wow, did that trigger something. He screamed at me not to touch his phone, but I snatched it off the counter and there it all was. The entire thing. The mistress, the WhatsApp messages, the separate credit card he had just to but her things, the honeybunny_12 cheated on me texts to everyone he knew. All of it. I lost it, showed both his parents and his sister, sent screenshots to his friends, sent a text to his mistress about how he was not in fact single and she was the other woman, all while he was screaming at the top of his lungs at me. When his true feelings unfolded, he told me he wasn't gay, he dated me because I'm a trans man. Pre-op at the time, he didn't see me as a man, he hated being with me. Oh, and on our anniversary he slept with the stripper that had actually been his mistress. For nearly a year. His sister, and my best friend now, recorded all of it and posted his meltdown to social media for the world to see. So he ended up losing all his friends, being disowned by his family, losing his source of money, his parents, and being forced to drop out of school. I still talk to his parents occasionally, they send me birthday and Christmas cards and a bit of money on those occasions, and his sister, 20F, and I are best friends now. Well, now I live in a whole different state, post-op surgery, with a nice apartment, well-paying job, and a wonderful new boyfriend, 24M, who I trust deeply. And guess who just showed up? L. He found me at my favorite date spot with my boyfriend and ran up to me. Apparently he recently moved to my city with his baby mama and is living in a 1-bedroom with her and her 2 kids, only one is his. He acted like we were good old friends, but my boyfriend already knew him and told him to F off. He got pissy and sulked off. Well, that night he knocked on my apartment door and begged me to take him back and kicked my boyfriend out. I laughed in his face and told him absolutely not. I did tell him I had a surprise for him though. I handed him the most recent card I had received from his parents. My birthday was a few months ago, and smiled, telling him his parents still love me. I took the card back and slammed the door in his face. I got texts upon texts from multiple accounts of his and his new friends. I just blocked them though and told his family about the encounter, and now I have a restraining order. So I guess think twice before you cheat when you know your parents love me more than you. By the way, I was texting his sister today, and she said he got 5 kids with 3 different girls. And he has no job, no car, no house. That's why he's living with his broke baby mama, because at least she has a job. TLDR, my ex cheated on me with a stripper and got disowned. Now his parents still love me and he's broke and begging for me back. Don't forget to support my channel by subscribing, thank you. Story 2. My ex demanded me for child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. Some years ago, I dated a girl. The relationship was bad. She was very controlling and abusive. It ended up really bad and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and after some years I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life and make some savings. The thing is, a couple months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. She first asked me to talk. I believed that she may want to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son and demanding for child support. I didn't believe her, but the child age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer, a friend of mine, to try to solve this out of the court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs and being an active part of the kid's life, only after making a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this except for my ex. She acted offended and demanded to just give her the money she deserved. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family to told them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility of her child. When she run out of excuses, and the DNA test was finally made, and surprise, I'm not the father. She was so mad with the result, and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Moving on to the last week, there was a little party on my parents' house. My brother, a friend and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the people. Literally, we were on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us, at least that was what we thought. We were laughing like crazies when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She spied us and heard our conversation and she was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for being mocking of a poor. Few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she started to say how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. My brother and I were like, "Are you serious?" When she started to say how I forced my ex into be a single mother and that I have the moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we maybe were being too cruel making jokes of her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said even if the kid is not yours, you are making more than enough money to support that child, you should have helped her. Since then, I had been receiving texts. My dad and my brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mom only said it's your decision and I respect it. I'm just very disappointed that you ended up being so selfish. I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money and I'm not planning to give her any, but the constant harassment of my sister trying to guilt me, it's just exhausting. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother, had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurted her the most was all the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and I wasn't his son, and if that was the reason if she was on her side. We had a very long conversation. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother, had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurted her the most was all the doubts about if she'd cheat on my dad and I wasn't his son, and if that was the reason if she was on her side. We had a very long conversation. Also, she said that even if you are not the biological father, you have an effective responsibility with her, so you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She was a lost cause about my ex. I did some research and I found out that, shortly after we broke, she started dating another guy, or maybe she was cheating me with him before, I'm not sure. They broke some weeks later, and she had multiple dates until she found she was pregnant. I also found that she had been trying to find a father to her kid for the last 2 years, and I was the next on the list, but looks like she is desperate now, because she was never that aggressive with any other one before. Now, the reason of this post: some days ago, my ex and my sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that says he abandoned his child and irresponsible father, and started a drama, saying all their bullshit. Their intention was to shame me and use the social pression to force me to take charge of them. They literally said it. To don't make the story too long, they were taken out of the place. I got problems for that scandal, even after showing all the proofs and legal documents that showed they were lying. I was earned that this better never happen again or I'll be fired. After that I contacted my friend, the lawyer, and we are now redacting a very long detailed paper against them, my ex and my sister too. They were too far, now I'm going against them with everything. Maybe that scared them enough to leave me alone. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.